Okay. Let me go ahead and do some introductions. We'll go ahead and get started here. Hello, everybody. We've got great turnout on this one. I'm really excited to dive into our Amazon product, which we call our Marketplace Intelligence. My name is Caleb Nelson. I'm Chief Growth Officer here at Sifted. I'm accompanied by a couple of really talented people that we're lucky to have. We've got Elise Gordon, who's our Operations Client Services Manager, as well as Justin Coberly, who is our Technology Director and General Manager of the Amazon product. So Elise and Justin, you want to say hi?
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Hello.
So as we get started, I really encourage everybody to ask questions. Hello, Anna. Ask questions, drop it in the Q&A. I think that's a great place for you to pose any questions that you've got, need some more detailed information on. We've got a mixture of individuals on this call. Those of you who have not yet seen our Marketplace Intelligence Amazon product and do not have your data linked, and those of you who do and are active clients. And so we're going to do our best to navigate between those two. If you have very specific account questions, Elise is your point of contact for that, and we can take care of that after the call. But again, this is supposed to be really a learning session to dive into specifically the value and benefit that Sifted can provide if you sell on Amazon. I'll go ahead and get started here and we'll kick it off by just some industry trends. This is a great place to ask questions too. If you're seeing something specific in the industry, specific with changes with Amazon and some of the plays that they're trying to make in the space. I think this is a very interesting portion to spend a little bit of time on, just given the fact that Amazon has made some serious moves in the market just this month. A couple of those big moves have been their official full rollout of Buy with Prime. If anybody has any questions on that, I can answer any questions specific to that as well. But that Buy with Prime is a major category in which Amazon is potentially, I think, stepping in a direction of competing against UPS and FedEx. And a lot of you who are on the call also ship with FedEx or UPS or with USPS on web orders on your own website. We feel like Amazon is heading in a direction where instead of it being FedEx and UPS as separate carriers, Amazon as its own kind of totally different entity, they're going to really, I think, soon come crashing together and give ultimately clients more options for delivery services on. So I think it's really interesting times. Justin, do you want to touch on some of the updates that they've made with the FBA fees?
Yeah, I mean, mostly, Amazon increases their fees pretty steadily on a yearly basis. But I think one of the more interesting things this year is they've subcategorized their fees now down to even half-pound increments. So they're getting, even more granular about the fees you're going to be paying on fulfillment and storage going forward. So I think, as Amazon is accustomed to doing, they're going to be increasing fees and they're going to be making it even more complex to figure out, how much it's really costing you to sell certain products on Amazon.
I'll turn it over to Q&A. If anybody has any questions here on industry changes or updates or what we're seeing, subject to the data and view that we have, I'd be happy to answer anything that comes up. Pause just a minute. If anybody has anything, you can type it in the Q&A. Okay, if not, I'll keep my eye on this. Oh, we've got a question that came through that just said, what should sellers prioritize first based on the new FBA changes? Justin, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I guess I'm curious. Would you be able to speak more about what are you speaking to when you say prioritize first?
And I think as we dive into the software, you'll be able to see kind of how we dissect some specific fees out. You'll be able to identify which fees are causing you the most amount of pain and eroding your margins and profitability. I think that might be able to help with the first direction on how you should prioritize it.
Okay, so in regards to inventory and storage fees, so this is going to kind of tie in from our connections with Amazon and what we've heard. So personally, I think that the storage fees, if we're lucky, is going to get an overhaul, right? So Amazon has this new like bidding process that they're trying to release, but alongside of that, they've made a lot of technical upgrades that are supposed to, and I'll put big quotes around that, supposed to be much better at helping you determine when you should be disposing inventory, pulling inventory out, what's not selling. So I would hope that Amazon is going to make storage fees as optimized as possible. That might rarely happen. And then from inventory fees, I think that, as Caleb's going to mention with our fee analyzer, it's really just going to make, as the margins potentially shrink on products and there's more and more competition, I think that that's something you're going to have to pay more attention to in terms of like, is my product competitively priced? And what is my actual margin on these products? Is it getting eroded by actual fulfillment fee increases? So long answer short, I think inventory and fulfillment fees are going to be the primary focus, and hopefully storage fees will become less of an issue if Amazon releases some of the products they've promised.
Yeah, that's spot on. And I think this will really come to light when we go through the fee analyzer, as Justin mentioned. I think there's some really cool things here. We've got a question here that says, we have seen details on the bidding process for extra FBA space. Major bummer. Will Sifted be providing any transparency on this new system regarding what would be the optimal amount to bid?
Yeah, so our representatives at Amazon, they help us on the engineering side provide, here's what's coming and here's what data we will have access to so that we can build tools for sellers, right? As far as APIs that are going to be released for this bidding process, there has been no mention of it yet. So what that means is we are not going to be 100% sure what data we will be able to pull and analyze to build on top of these tools. At the moment, we can pull regular storage fees, which is what we currently do with our sellers, and analyze this. I would be shocked if within the next 3 months, from the developer side, we didn't get an update from Amazon saying, here's some new data that you can pull in regards to the bidding process. So we will probably make a release on the software side when these APIs become available. And then from there, we can put that into our roadmap. But it's going to be months out at the pace that Amazon is moving.
Yep. Yeah, slower for sure. I think what we tend to solve is a lot of clarity on the questions that you're seeing on your screen right now. From everything from has FBA shipment get incorrectly counted to inventory lost and damage on the FBA warehouse side. There's a lot that the software provides some clarity on that I would like to dive into. I think our end goal at Sifted is to provide transparency so that you can be able to determine what's working and what's not working, have a corrective action to fix it, and ultimately be the best Amazon seller that you can be. The cool thing about Amazon in that Buy with Prime is it gives essentially e-commerce businesses, sellers like yourself, an opportunity to sell product on your own website without utilizing and selling it and posting it on Amazon. There's it opens up a huge area for growth that I think a lot of you on the call have a potential of taking advantage of. And we can still pull in the data and provide some strong transparency there. What we're going to go over is these 4 primary bullet point items here. And 2 of the 4, we're going to spend the majority of the time on. So our software will provide you with seller insights, visualization on your data, which I think is extremely important in helping understand what's working, what's not working. Our new FBA fee analyzer, which I am so proud that that we have, that the team has done a really good job. And if you haven't seen that yet, that's what we're going to spend the majority of our time on today, as well as on FBA audit and recovery and that process so that you can make sure that you're maximizing the amount of money that is left out there based off of Amazon's issues and challenges that they're having, that you are entitled to get money back on. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and launch into the software. Before I do, we have a number of you on the call that have not yet connected your data, or you're interested in doing it. This is how simple it is. So oftentimes we get questions asked of like, hey, how do I get my data in your system? And how difficult is that process? It is as simple as what you're looking at on the screen. You can go to sifted.com and click on Marketplace Intelligence. This is where you can sign up essentially for free, and I'll show you what free looks like. But connecting your data is very simple. Put in your full name, your email address, create a password, and then put in your company name, hit agree, and then hit create account. It'll automatically send you to your Seller Central account so that you can link that account. And Justin, you'd say what typical turnaround time to providing the downloading of data and building of dashboards is 4 hours for a typical seller?
Yep, correct.
That is all you have to do in order to get set up. Once you have that set up, you can come in here to your Sifted MI dashboard. And these are your major KPIs. These are KPIs that businesses kind of live and die on based upon the information that they're getting from Amazon. It's a consolidation of multiple data sets put together in a visualization so that you can understand what's happening. A couple of really key inputs on this dashboard here is your order metrics over time. So as it trends throughout the year, you can also splice it out between your FBA and FBM to your B2B and B2C and create any date range that you want to slice this data down. The storage fees, I think, is also ever present and important to be able to look at. This identifies your storage fees over time. And you can see that major kind of hockey stick fee increase that takes place at the end of the year. And with the new addition to some of the FBA fees, you're going to see that continue to be something that you're going to want to watch. Another big component for our clients is the audit. I mean, it's a big reason why customers select Sifted as an option, is our performance on the audit is phenomenal. And this allows full transparency on that. This is the audit status in a quick standpoint, and then we can dive into some further details as we go through it. But I think beyond that, tracking the audit reimbursement cases and your, I would say, efficacy on how many claims are coming back and what's being applied to your account in visual dashboards to use that you have 100% clarity, I think is really what shippers have a lot of value in for us. Justin, anything else on here, or at least anything else on here you want me to touch on before we dive into some further detail on the tabs?
Beyond just adding in the audits, so we've been auditing Amazon for quite a few years now. And on the right-hand side, there's that reimbursements chart that is plotting your reimbursements over the last 18 months. And one of the metrics that we look at closely is auto reimbursed versus user submitted reimbursements. Essentially, how much is Amazon automatically catching and giving back to you versus how much are you or our team submitting ourselves? And when I joined Sifted and really started getting into the audit space, I had assumed that Amazon was pretty good at catching these mistakes. So when a client would sign on, they normally don't open up cases, or they do infrequently. We noticed that Amazon would catch a percentage of the mistakes. Now that we've been doing this for quite some time now for thousands of sellers, as it stands in 2023, Amazon is catching probably 40 to 55% of all the mistakes that happen. So for any current clients or people who are curious, that dark blue to light blue ratio, you can pretty much expect it to be 50-50. That's going to be the goal. So if you ever look at what Amazon's reimbursed for you for the most part, you'll find that there's probably another, you can almost double that number, and that'll get you pretty close to what they have not found and reimburse back to you.
Yeah, I would say one of the primary benefits, if you have not connected your data, is to not only see it in a visualization of what's working, what's not working, and how you can be a better Amazon seller, but what is left owed out there that's owed to you from Amazon based upon mistakes and issues that they've had. Our software will automatically go through and perform an preliminary audit to identify how many unclaimed reimbursements in total you have. And then we can dive into some of the detail from here. So by the way, if you're a free user and you just want to connect and see your data and get an idea of how much Amazon owes you, this is the dashboards that you're seeing right in front of you, and this is all free. As well as that preliminary audit of how much Amazon has out there for you. Once you do sign up, you can click into your audits tab and identify in pure clarity what it is in specific detail Amazon has messed up on, whether it's on inbound, warehouse, or returns. Our purpose is to identify, isolate those particular issues, and then show specifically what the challenges were. So in this case, you've got quantity shipped of 50 particular units to Amazon. Amazon said, great, I got all 31 of them, thank you. That doesn't provide you with the clarity that you need, and Amazon's not going to tell you that you short shipped it. It's up to you in order to be able to identify and match this up. Our software does that automatically. And then Elise and her team will go through and submit those claims and pull those through for you on your behalf for the majority of clients that we have. Justin, Elise, any clarity you want to add to the audit process and what we typically find as far as value and benefits? And I'll throw this out to the group as well. Any Q&A on audit? Now's a great time to ask those questions.
Yeah, especially if there's any current clients, we're always looking for feedback. We normally are under the impression that, you know, our team and Elise's team submitting these audits, it's to prevent a time sink on your part, right? It's we're pulling 18 months worth of all of your Amazon data. We're checking every single day, reconciling all of your SKUs, looking for loss, damaged, returns, bad orders, obviously inbound, like Caleb brought up. But where we get the most feedback on the tool is in the actual efficacy of it, right? Whether a client is doing it themselves or it's our team, they don't, you know, we want to know how we can answer the questions that matter most to you. And for the most part, what we get is, how much value am I getting out of the audit itself, right? So being able to see the efficacy rate, how many cases we've opened, how much money we're securing, how much inventory we're finding, or just how many mistakes in general is Amazon making over time, and is that growing or shrinking with my business? Those are the questions we like to answer for our clients. Obviously, if there's other things that matter to you as a seller, you know, we're always interested in feedback on that side.
Nino, I saw that you raised your hand. You can drop your question in the Q&A portion there, and we'll read it out and answer it. Elise, anything from you or your team on pitfalls or advice on the audit portion before I move on?
Nothing, you know, that sticks out in my mind. I think one thing that's nice is just the full visibility. You can see what was submitted. You can see the reimbursements coming through. You can view the cases. So the visibility is something that's really nice.
Excellent. The one question that just came through from Amanda says, have you noticed a difference in Amazon's accuracy in catching mistakes for FBA sellers who use manufacturer barcodes versus FNS SKUs? Justin, Elise, do you have any insight to that?
So,
oh, go ahead, Justin.
No, go ahead and answer it, Elise.
Honestly, you probably have a better answer than I do.
I'm gonna say no, but it's mostly from a high level view, right? Like we take the thousands of sellers, all of that data, and we look at efficacy rates across the board, any changes that Amazon makes to their inbound, especially their inbound fulfillment process, has almost zero effect. I would say at least there hasn't been a single client that we've onboarded where we're like, wow, Amazon for some reason with this seller is just making a lot less mistakes, no matter how they're shipping it in, whether it's LTL, FTL, UPS, FedEx, small parcel, like how they box their products. I would say, you know, speaking mostly from an inbound perspective, the only thing that has seemed to decrease the amount of errors Amazon makes is if you ship one SKU at a time. I don't know very many sellers that just ship one bulk batch of products. They normally will ship 10 different SKUs or more at a time, and they're going to make mistakes. They're going to miscount, regardless of barcode versus FN SKUs or any other way that you're packaging your inventory.
Another question came through. Current clients returns audits seem to be the most difficult cases to win. How can we win more of these cases?
Elise, do you want to take that or do you want me?
Yeah, well, I'll just provide my 2 cents. The hard thing about returns is that Amazon more often than not doesn't like to claim that it's their fault. So depending on the subcategory of returns, some can be very successful, and we actually do automatically submit for one category. It's returns not added. So products that aren't added back to your inventory. However, any other types of returns category, I always tell our clients we can submit a case for it. However, if it's customer damaged or for whatever reason it's not Amazon's fault, more often than not, they will not take the responsibility for it and not reimburse you for it.
Great. Next question is really the length of time we can go back and audit. So we signed up about a month ago is the question. You mentioned a review in the past 18 months. Does that mean you're able to audit up to the past 18 months?
For a lot of audits, we can. So loss, damage, missing inventory, returns, orders, a lot of those, Amazon gives us an 18-month window. So we can reconcile your inventory and claim those automatically. Elise, I believe inbound is 9 months after the shipment creation date. Yeah, so 9 months after the creation of the shipment is how far back we can go for inbound, which is by far our biggest trouble with Amazon. And we will say that for anyone who is struggling to get these inbound cases in, one of the best things you can do, and Amazon has even promoted this, is hold off on creating the shipment as long as possible. We've noticed a lot of sellers, especially since COVID, if you're shipping stuff overseas and things get locked up at the port, Amazon auto closes your shipment after 90 days. It says they never receive it, they get it later, and all of that counts against your claimable window. So we've had unfortunate cases with sellers where they will create an inbound shipment, and for some reason it takes 7 months, 8 months for Amazon to even receive and count it, and that gives us less than 30 days to collect all the documentation and try and fight it. So roundabout 9 months for inbound, 18 months for most others, and 90 days for incorrect FBA fees.
Yeah, and I think if you haven't gone through and connected your data and identified how much you have left out there, do it. It's an easy safety net. It's money that's currently out there that is owed to you, and the system can go ahead and start to put a dollar figure to that.
Yep.
We've got some more specific questions that might have to wait for us to follow up on, Elise, and you and your team. I've been having some trouble getting the reimbursements showed on Sifted, even when it's accepted on our Seller Central. What can I do in this case? That's very specific, and I think let's address that after.
Oh, well, actually, okay. Can I get 30 seconds on that one?
Sure.
So we've noticed this a few times. Our system, from a technical point of view, it looks at the case ID you put into our system, and it looks at the reimbursement inside Seller Central, and that's how it performs a match. We have had this issue for about 3 months now, where you can open up a case and Amazon will reimburse you under a different case ID. That exact question, I've been having trouble getting reimbursements showing in Sifted. We've had this question asked maybe 15 or 20 plus times. And every single time it's because Amazon reimbursed you under the wrong case ID. So if you ever have that issue, open up a ticket in support or the little feedback widget on the screen and simply put in the case ID or the reimbursement you have in question, and our team will look into that and get it all squared away for you.
Okay. One question from Christopher comes up, says, what type, if any, pushback are you receiving from Amazon cases for reimbursement? We have received requests for various documentation, and historically, I have seen Amazon arbitrarily deny claims.
That one's for you, Elise.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yes, there is a lot of pushback. I'm assuming that you're referring to inbound case for inbound reimbursement. Amazon is extremely picky about what is on that documentation. And that's something that we always like to get on a call with our clients and talk about. We go through the guidelines of exactly what Amazon's asking for. Our team goes in, highlights documentation. I will also say we do also have all of this information in our knowledge base, which you can find on the platform. And this will list out every type of documentation and provide a checklist of exactly what Amazon is asking for. So if you are submitting them yourselves, or if our team is doing it, you can always refer back to that, or you can email me and I can provide you a list of what Amazon's asking for.
Last question comes, and this might be good for roadmap discussion, Justin, for you, but for inbound shipping, could the platform help me find efficiencies for faster receiving, possibly from ship method, carrier, package sizes, or FBA locations?
That's a fantastic question. We have tried to do a lot of research into that. As it stands today, we do not have the capability to make a solid recommendation to you on you should switch from UPS to FedEx, right? Because you'll have a higher chance. However, what we have done analysis on are the FBA locations. And the best I can say is through our analysis, not every FBA location will treat your inventory the same. We have hundreds of thousands of inbound shipments we analyze, and there is a shocking amount of warehouse codes where for some reason product that gets shipped there, no matter the carrier, just gets lost. And I would be curious if anyone else had similar, like has experienced that or had this gut feeling that, man, whenever I ship to this warehouse, for some reason, all the time my stuff goes missing. I can statistically confirm that not every warehouse location treats your stuff the same. Not that Amazon gives you too much of a choice, though, on where you can ship to. So,
thank you all for your questions on the audit portion. If you have anything else, ping us after the call. We'd be happy to help out.
yeah.
If we move on to just the sales visualization here, the sales map has gotten a recent revamp where we have added in Canada and Mexico to that sales heat map in both their native currency. And you can identify quickly where you're selling your product the most, specific to down to specific zip code, and looking at it from total transactions. You can also filter it on the right-hand side where you can look at it either by SKU or by ASIN. You can filter out by service level. So what particular type of service you want to look at, to if it was fulfilled by Amazon or by merchant, and export the data into an Excel or CSV file format. It's a really interesting way to be able to view your Amazon efficacy and your sales in a map, in a geospatial map environment here. I think the main meat and potatoes that I'd like to be able to focus the majority of the rest of the time on is on our fee analyzer. So if you have any questions, again, on the audit, sales heat map, or anything like that, ping us after the call. But if we shift gears into the fee analyzer, this really allows you to be able to identify your profitability per SKU. There is some very interesting things that the software does, but it will go through and identify specifically how many units were sold in a particular SKU. You can identify the estimated fee total and your particular cost for that. But if I click and expand this out, it allows me to see the specific length, width, and height and weight that Amazon has indicated, which oftentimes is incorrect, believe it or not. It also allows you to upload your own data for your length, width, and height per SKU to then match up subject to Amazon's. So once you have that loaded, you can say, look, this SKU, which is, I know exactly is 7 by 15 by 15, is consistently getting redimmed out in a variety of ways, either by changing it to 8.9 to 18.7, changing the weight, and then changing the dim, which increases your total fees. This allows you to identify specific fees in which are dragging your profitability down and impacting it on a per SKU basis. We have a lot of sellers who think that they are extremely profitable on a particular SKU. When they add in all of these additional charges and changes, realize that they are substantially less profitable, or in some cases not making money at all. So I think it's really important for you to go through and identify that, and then you can look at it as a fees per product page here. You can see it from US versus Canada, and then scroll down here to your historic fees versus sales, which can help you identify your true profit, which is listed on the bottom item here, once all of the fees come into effect. We have a question that came through, and then Justin, Elise, I'd like for your 2 cents on the fee analyzer. But Jason asked, we currently use another service for this. However, I do like your interface better than what we're using now. Do you charge a monthly fee for this, or do you take a cut for what you recover?
Yeah, great question. We charge a flat monthly fee. So it doesn't, sales volume doesn't matter. It's just one fixed monthly fee for our team. And then you just have to upload your product dimensions into the dashboard for us to start flagging it. This is different than our traditional audits where we take a cut of what we recover. And just to kind of explain why, with the FBA dimensional audits, the reason why it's a fixed monthly fee is because the amount you get back is directly related to how long that FBA fee has been incorrect for. So, Caleb, on that very first screen, you brought up the fact that you can see how many sales or units sold. That's over the last 90 days. And what we don't want is to incentivize that. Let's say we did see an incorrect fee. If we catch it day one, when you've sold 2 of those products with incorrect FBA fees versus maybe in 45 days where you've sold 1,000, that would directly relate to how much we would charge you if we charged a percent. So specifically relating to the fee analyzer, we're scanning all of your FBA SKUs. We're looking for dimensional changes, and whether we catch it day 1 or day 89, it's just one fixed cost for us to go in and file for that rescan and get it corrected.
Yep, that's correct. I think the fee analyzer is extremely important to identify some of those questions we get asked on a regular basis, which is, hey, I'm doing the basic audit, either myself or with another company. What's the next level that I can be able to go get some additional money back from Amazon and provide me with the insight to know what's not working and what do I need to change? Specific to the dimensionalization, we're seeing Amazon really vary pretty heavily, even on a per SKU basis. So in some days it's, they're listing it by 8.9 by 18.74, and then the next day they're listing it at 7.7 by 19.5. So it just kind of varies wildly, where we can identify exactly what's going on and file for those claims as we see them. And
to further expand too, I mean, really, you have your product dimensions that you upload to Amazon. However, those dimensions that are on that screen that Caleb had up, Amazon is remeasuring your products every time you ship it into an FBA warehouse. And when you've got thousands of FBA warehouses that you're shipping your products to, of course, they can't keep them all calibrated the same. So that's why we are scanning every single time it changes. So you can see historically, where they've misscanned your product. And that's the true dimensions that you're going to get charged on for your storage fees and your fulfillment fees, not just the SKU dimensions that you upload when you create a product inside of Amazon. And that's why they change so frequently.
Yep. Any questions on the fee analyzer portion of this? And then we've got an announcement on the EU that we've been excited to talk about. But any questions on this fee analyzer or anything that we've touched on so far? Okay, we are nearing the end here, but Justin, do you want to talk a little bit about EU support that's coming down the pipe here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're super excited to announce that we have a very small beta program for EU that we've had a lot of success with, and we're expanding that beta program out to more sellers. We're trying to get more data into our pipeline. So Elise is heading the operations team at expanding out to Europe. If there are any clients interested, please, we're going to send out an email with her information on it, but schedule time with Elise. If you're already on the platform, it's really easy to link your EU account with us. It takes about 15 minutes on a phone call to get everything set up. If you're a new client, we can walk you through sign up and again, linking that EU account. But we're hoping to fully release an EU audit solution within the next, by the end of Q1.
That's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be something a lot of sellers have been asking for as they've decided to expand into the EU. There's a variety of packages that you have access to under this Sifted Marketplace Intelligence platform here. The Essential, which is that free tier, that's a great place to get started to connect your data, bring it in, see your dashboards, and see how much Amazon has out there for you. We have Essential Plus, which is really our standard audit at a 15% reimbursement fee. But there's a lot of other different categories in which we can provide additional value, such as the sales visualization, fee analyzer that we talked through, and expansion into that EU audit as well. Ping us if you've got any questions. We'd be happy to answer them. We're going to hang on the call for a couple more minutes, just if you guys have any specific questions that jump up. And you'll receive a recording at the end of this. You can feel free to share it with other team members in your organization. We'll pause here. Does anybody have any questions or final comments as far as the software, what they've seen, any thoughts or feelings there, or any questions around Amazon and challenges that they've run into? Okay, we're going to hang on. Oh, we've got one that just came through. We are an enhanced tier, but want to access to the analyzer. Will there be another tier or a la carte option?
Yes, that we've gotten a couple requests for that, and we can work with you on getting that a la carte option. But contact us after, because, like you said, it's not a built-in. We do have custom plan pricing though for that.
Okay. Next question, not a question. Thanks for the insight. For us, there is definite functionality on Sifted we are currently not using and could benefit from. Chris, thank you so much. That's the purpose of these calls. Is sometimes you sign up for a software platform and might not fully understand the full capability of that, and these really bring to light what we can do to kind of flex that extra muscles to get some more money from Amazon. So thank you. That's a perfect response. If anybody has any other questions, drop them in. We'll jump on be on for the next couple minutes. If not, thank you all for your time, and we really appreciate your focus on being here today. I think this has been a great conversation. Again, you can ping us after. Elise and Justin, thank you all. And big thanks to Hannah and the marketing team for putting this together. We really do appreciate it. We'll be on for the next couple minutes if anybody has any questions. Thanks, everybody.